Hi, thanks for tuning in again, Tackle Warehouse fans. We got another addition to our how-to series aimed at making us more knowledgeable anglers both on and off the water. We got a good one for you here today, a perfect one for winter time. You know, when the water's getting hard, you need something to do, you're reorganizing the tackle, or maybe between tournaments or on the fly, because this thing is super quick, super simple. So let's jump right in with step one of making and exchanging your jig skirts. So the first step, pretty simple. You're going to choose your pattern and choose material. There's a ton of different materials out there, you know, from silicone, kind of some of the old school flat rubber, more of the round rubber. So there's a ton of different things that you can choose from. And then the pattern itself, you're just going to want to choose a bunch of different patterns, see what's working for your fishery, and then stock up. So today we're going to go with some silicone skirting, and we got a few different colors here that we're going to use. 3 different colors that we're all going to put into one single skirt. The next step is choosing your skirt band. There's a couple of different options there. You can go with just your standard skirt band. You know, it's not going to have any extra appendages on it, or you can go with one of these rattle straps or just rattle band. These are actually going to have a couple different attachment features, so you can add a rattle into it. That's just going to give your jig a more acoustic presence as well. You know, kind of call those fish in more than just visual. So the third step is actually going to be bringing these things together and creating your skirt. So we need our handy dandy Skirts Unlimited skirt making tool here, and what we're going to do is we're just going to combine all your skirting material. So with the skirting material, a pre-made jig is going to come out with anywhere from 40 to 60 strands of silicone or rubber or whatever the case may be for your particular jig. This skirting material itself is sold in 20 strand tabs or somewhere around there, 20, 22, something like that. So if you want to use 2 strands or 2 tabs, you can get kind of a thinner skirt, or you can really bulk it up, do 3, even 4 for maybe that really thick wintertime skirt. So today we're actually going to go kind of right in the middle. We're going to do 2.5 tabs. So we have 2 full tabs here, and then I actually snipped this root beer colored tab in half. So you can absolutely do that. You can trim these down, half, third, whatever you want. All right, so putting these together, first step is actually going to be getting your rattle band onto this skirt making tool. So you're just going to slide it up, right up onto this metal conical on the nose of this tool, slide it up onto the body, and then you can go ahead and ditch that metal tip. No longer need that. Next, all right, we can feed this wire piece into the housing of that metal tube, and let's start adding our skirting. So I got our first little half tab here. Now we'll run a full tab, and then your last full tab here. So this is going to give you about 50 strands of silicone, so you're going to get kind of in between that 40 to 60, in between the thick and the thin skirting material. So as you can see, I'm pulling the silicone skirting up through this tube. You'd want to pull it a little bit. You can either go more or less than halfway, but you do want to leave it a little bit offset. So about right there. And then you're just going to roll that rattle or skirt band down onto the skirting material. It just slides down off this tube and onto the skirting material itself. There you go. Now you can just finish pulling this out, ditch that wire piece, and now we have our created skirt. So you can see I offset it a little bit. I actually think I want to bring that band down a touch. Super simple. You can actually just pull this band down. You don't need the tool anymore for that, and you can actually get it situated just about where you want it. I don't know, somewhere between like 1/3 and 1/2, something pretty close there. All right, so the next step for you here to finish this skirt out is we actually have to trim these tab ends off that are holding the skirting material together. So you just take your scissors, boom, boom. There you go, that's the first half, and then we're going to do the same thing on this back half. You can do them all together if you want to, do it nice and quick. And then just go ahead and fluff out that skirting a bit, just to make sure all the silicone strands are separated. So there you go, that is the completed banded skirt here. So you're ready to add this to your new jig. All right, so now we got our old jig here, kind of chewed up skirt from a season of fishing here. The first step we're going to do to get our fresh new one on, obviously, is take this old busted one off. So there's a few different ways you can do it. 1, you can just rip this thing off. 2, you can take those handy dandy scissors again, snip this thing off. Or 3, if your rattle band may still be in good shape, but the skirting just needs to be exchanged, you can go ahead and use that same skirt making tool to actually pull this collar and skirt off. And the only benefit to that is if you want to reuse that skirt band later, save a little bit of money on the back end. I mean, kind of one of the biggest benefits about building out these jigs is it saves so much money. So you can still pull all the skirting material out, reuse that band right there. All right, so today we're just going to go ahead and swap it out for our new one. So now, as I mentioned, I kind of have an off-centered side here. So I'm going to put the longer end side is where the point of the hook is going to thread through first. It's going to fold over and just kind of sit more evenly. So how we did kind of that half strand there, I think I want all that half strand to be kind of on the back end, or at least most of it. So we'll just go ahead and insert the hook point right in the center of your skirting material between that, or in that rattle band, and we're just going to thread it up the shank of the hook. Super easy. If you have any keeper systems, you're going to go right over that keeper system, and then the last thing you're going to be going over is that molded collar system. That's what's actually going to hold your skirt in place. So just push it on up over that collar until it is seated right where it needs to be. All right, just like that. So there we go. We got it all put on, all together, looking nice, looking fresh, your custom color here. Now you can see we have a little bit of uneven strands to it. So to even that out, you can simply take your scissors, trim it down. Now we have it all kind of nice and even, and it looks great. That's fine just as it is right there, but a little pro tip for you, you can even get yourself a pair of these barber thinning scissors. And these barber thinning scissors, they're just going to cut portions of the strands. So it's just going to give you kind of a more natural look. Not all super uniform. I mean, not all crawfish are going to be super uniform and perfect. So you can kind of thin out some of the skirts at the end there, and it's just going to give you more of a natural profile. So there you go. It's that simple. If you had elected to use one of the skirt bands with the rattle portions in it, this is where you would actually add your rattles in now. They just slip right into that collar. You have a couple of different rings extending off the edge here, so you can get more of an acoustic layer to your presentation. All right, that's it, guys. It's that simple. So from a long, thick, maybe kind of a wintertime skirt, or maybe just a short, thinner, more action skirt when the fish are actively feeding, I mean, you can customize these creations to make it exactly what you want, and you get that kind of sense of pride, catching a fish on your own home-cooked creation. I think that's kind of cool, and it saves you a couple bucks on the back end. There's never anything wrong with that. So super easy, guys. Make sure to exchange your jig skirts every season. Keep them fresh, keep them new. All right, that's going to wrap up this week's how-to. Make sure to tune in and check out more of these videos. You can head over to our Learning Center and see a ton of different content that we put out, and stay tuned because we have a bunch more content coming your way. And let us know in the comments if there's anything you want to see. Maybe you want to see how to hand tie one of these jigs. We can do something like that for you guys as well. So definitely drop us a comment. All right, we'll see you all next how to.